You see, I'm using the breath as a parable, aren't I? A practical parable, one that you can practice doing, thinking through. The very regulation of the breath itself generates a peaceful state, something that engenders harmony. The body, quite literally, is well oxygenated, filled with what it needs for life, oxygen. The impurities, if you like, in the blood are being dealt with. You actually start to build up a reserve of oxygen in the system. This is very calming because you now don't need particularly the next breath that you're doing. You're in large measure just adding to the store of oxygen. You're sort of generating potential. And at some point, you will find, I seem to have stopped breathing. Because, of course, your body doesn't need you to take the next breath. Now, this is an amazing piece. Just notice it. Don't do anything about it. I'm not asking you to hold your breath. Your breath will just stay flat, as it were, because it's not needed for a little while. Well, at some point you'll breathe in again, of course. Perhaps your oxygen supply runs low, or perhaps you just think, well, this is very strange, perhaps I ought to be breathing. Perhaps I do want to breathe, and you breathe the next breath. And you go back into the practice. Probably. But this is just a parable in practice of what's happening spiritually to you. You're becoming filled with, by which I really mean aware of, the loveliness of God. The whole thing is a cycle ride. Which is my way of saying, you're enjoying a beautiful country ride. The wheels are going round and round. And the air is fresh. The birds are singing. I should have done this recording by the lake, shouldn't I? I'm actually doing it in bed. Do you see you're contributing towards a peaceful state, and it's feeding back on the mind and the emotions and the spirit? You're becoming peaceful, you're less demanding of what the world has to offer. You're disengaging from the busyness of life and of the mind and of the emotions. You're needing less from this universe. Temporarily. You're at peace. You have enough reserves, you find now, to stay quite a while in this peaceful state. You're content. You're pulsing in all these situations to find yourself content. You might have been worried about this, that, and the other, or concerned or preoccupied. But now you are much, much less so. It's faded into, its significance has faded significantly. You're beginning to know the peace of God. You're experiencing it. You're becoming receptive to the spiritual presence of God in all things. His eternal being. You may tend towards waves of gratitude, love of just being in the awareness of Him. Love that's found in just appreciating Him, God, your dad, one who loves and cares for you. You're spending time with Him. And the time can pass without you noticing it. You're not even registering particularly what's going on. You're just involved in being, in God's peace, shalom. That seems to be meeting all of whatever needs one might have had. You're not in a state of need. You have fulfillment. His loving presence. You're becoming aware of the loveliness of God. That's what the practice is about. It is, if you like, a panacea. Anyone can do it. If you are alive, breathing, you can do it. And I can't guarantee you'll continue breathing. I don't mean you'll die. Well, in Pauline sense, you'll die daily, yes, in that you'll become still. And breathing will become less and less significant at times in your practice. You'll stop for a little while, perhaps longer, perhaps quite a while. It's not our goal to do so. It's what happens when we reflect on our being. We are the love of our dad. It's the result of an awareness and meditation, if you like. We're not emptying the mind, on the contrary, we're focusing the mind on on those 7 words and what they might mean to us and present to us. We're breathing accordingly. Now, anyone can do this. If you happen to be really secular, anti-God, anti-religion, it's all nonsense. You might think, oh, well, you wouldn't want this practice. Well, you might well do. In fact, you might more than any other. Because you're pressed with stresses of living, great unhappiness, trouble. You can practice this. The words may not be quite right for you. Just count. Just count. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe in. You might pause just before you breathe in, but whatever's comfortable. And you carry on doing this. You might choose some affirmation that has 7 beats, like, well, the one I choose is appropriate to me at this stage, which is to say, I'll do it for you. We are the love of you, Dad. We are the love of you, Dad. And then breathing out the same. So, I just repeat it 3 times. The in, the holding, and the breathing out of the breath. Don't know what you value, whatever you truly value at heart. And if you can't think of how to make up 7 words that are really meaningful to you, well, you're welcome to borrow what I use, of course. And I'll be delighted if you do. It may come to mean something to you. If, on the other hand, this repels you, well, it's best not to do it. And stick to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Repeat it as you breathe out, you know? You'll find, of course, you still regulate the breath, you still fill the body with oxygen sufficient for its needs and more, and you will enter a calm state. In this calm state, you will find there is a peace comes over you. And each breath will become for you a lifetime of spiritual progress. In the peace and the calm, you will simply feel a love, a thankfulness for life, for the peace and for life and for being. And you will, like me when I was a secular person, actually want God to exist, because it'd be nice if he did exist and you could thank him for it and relate to him. So it's not that you come to know that God exists. You come to know that you would like God to exist. And that is everything. You will fly and have no trouble in adopting my 7 words in the practice. So it's not that you have to do anything other than practice. I'm only saying that because I know that practicing will be such a blessing to you. So I'm recommending it, commending it to you. You don't have to overcome sin in your life. You don't have to, in the religious view of things, you don't have to do the impossible, force yourself to be good when you don't wish to be, and all the rest of it. But I can't guarantee, in fact, on the contrary, I can guarantee that you will overcome every spiritual barrier by this practice. Even just using the counting, what I call triangular breathing. Now, be reasonable. Don't do things to excess. Do what is comfortable. You get bored with doing it, stop. Don't force yourself through boredom so that you become alienated from the practice. That would be a great shame. You do it when it's comfortable to do. For me, it's when I'm awake in the middle of the night. I don't find much time during the day when I do it. But of course, because of the peace it engenders in me, I sleep less and less. And I have more and more time during the night to do it. That's fine. I'm not pressing it. I'm not trying to achieve some extreme that's beyond me. I just do what I enjoy doing. You see, it's for the love of life. Do what you appreciate doing in this regard. It's a practice that blesses in itself, helps you greatly along the way. When you start to put spiritual words to it instead of counting, you will go faster and faster. You'll come to know your God. Your God. Not someone else's, your God. It's the Holy Spirit teaching you, nobody else. You might read things that you find inspiring, you might do things that are inspiring, you might meet people that are inspiring, but what you receive will be what the Holy Spirit teaches you with. You are taught of your dad. You're homeschooled. You may have never been to school. There's a lot of bad schools out there. They're not all good religions, You're homeschooled by Dad. The Holy Spirit comes to teach you. And you in the practice will find you come to know your Dad. And his company is overwhelming blessing for you. And will teach you through to maturity. In what is in eternity an extremely short period of time. You'll ascend, transcend faster and faster and faster. Faster than light. Much, much faster than light. Bless you. Thank you, Dad.